As the weather gets colder, let the podcast get warmer. Fall in with the Backbone Wrestling feed. Every Monday we have the Cross Up. Every Tuesday we have Ruthlessly Aggressive and New General Admission. Every other Thursday, linking up Lucha and Highway to the Impact Zone. Every other Friday, Russo Pod. We have Territorial that drops whenever. Hidden Gem that drops whenever. And we have 2 new podcasts. The Movie Education of Logan Crossland, which is a great one. He'll finally watch movies. And Hands of Z. And how could I forget the Shit Take?
So you gotta show a little backbone.
The $1 Million Man has a gift. A gift worthy only of a king. So to you, the newly crowned Macho King Randy Savage, I give you this gift. A king should never be without this golden scepter. Solid golden scepter.
Let's take a look at, wow. Take a look at that, Jesse. I'm speechless, McMahon. I mean, admit the $1 Million Man does truly have a heart of gold, doesn't he? How's a pocketbook of gold? I'm not so sure about the heart. And besides, I thought you said you were speechless. The new Macho King, Randy Savage.
From Atlanta, Georgia, weighing in at 250 pounds, he is the Intercontinental Champion, Braun Breaker! Your prettiest, tallest, sparkliest, most beautiful, most popular, first and longest reigning Women's United States Champion, my bestie, not yours, Chelsea Green!
Here is your winner and the inaugural WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion, Lyra Valkyria! Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the new United States Champion, Shinsuke Nakamura!
I'm smart, you're dumb. I'm big, you're little. I'm right, you're wrong. And there's nothing you can do about it.
It doesn't matter what you think.
Shit.
You didn't say that. Tell me you did not just say that.
There's nothing anyone can do, there's nothing anyone can say. There's little can be done right now to make this go away. Cliched simple platitudes do naught to quell the dread. And the breadth and gravity just send me crawling back to bed. It's useless in this moment to say we'll get through this somehow. There's time enough for action, but that time isn't now. Soon we can start planning for what may come to be. But what I could really use right now is a bacon roll and a cup of tea. I don't need positive affirmations, I need to scream and bawl. The unrealistic expectations won't help with this at all. This is shit. Well, this is shit. I'm not expecting answers because they're out of your remit. I'm not looking for solutions, just for someone to admit that this is shit, this is shit, this is shit.
Backbone Wrestling Network, welcome to this episode of the Shit Take. Our second one back from a brief hiatus. Keithy, how are you today?
Oh, I am on fire right now. I am ready to go. I am full of venom and vigor, and I hope to be spitting fuel at you as when I look at your shit take and my shit take. So let's rock and roll. Let's get down to it. Let's boogie.
So on our last episode, I think we both, I don't know if they were shit takes. I think it turned into like more of a very good conversation piece to have.
It was a very fun discussion. Yes.
Yeah.
Much love in the room.
I mean, I was a little disappointed because My favorite episodes of these is where I get mad, make faces, and then you get all beat red and your eyes roll and yeah, like you're doing right now. Those are my favorites where I can like look at your face and you're just like seething,
Sure.
like you want to punch me in the face. Those are my favorites.
Okay.
So our last episode wasn't that, but it was a good wrestling conversation if you want to just listen to good, honest thought. But I think we're going to have a good one here, especially popping open your shit take to start. So Keith, go ahead. What is your shit take? You kick us off today,
So
whatever the fuck it is.
Okay. My shit take essentially is that since the Macho King Randy Savage retired and gave up his crown, his royal crown, the King of the Ring has really been a waste of developing talent. And now, well, hold on. And here's my reasoning behind it. Okay. You've had, well, I guess I could say one name, Mabel, but no, you could.
Hey, that made Mabel a star, and he main evented SummerSlam with Kevin Nash. Come on.
I just want to have as long of a silence pause so that I can just be.
There would have been no King Mabel or Mabel singles run without that happening.
Oh God, we so fucking missing that nonsense. Okay. All right. Anyway,
there would have been no Viscera.
Yeah.
There would have been
no Big Daddy V.
No Big Daddy V. There would have been no Mabel butt humping Matt Hardy during a Royal Rumble. There would have been none of that.
Okay. So moving on. If you go back through the actual pay-per-view King of the Ring tournaments, okay, you had Bret Hart, Owen Hart, Mabel, Steve Austin, Triple H, Ken Shamrock, Billy Gunn, Kurt Angle, Edge, and then Brock Lesnar. Okay.
So how can you tell me that shit?
Huh?
Think about the ones you just said.
No, all right, no, but hold on a minute. But this is what I'm saying is that you're not hearing me. I'm not talking about winning a tournament. I'm not talking about winning the tournament to determine something, okay? Though in that case, you had first of all, Steve Austin, history is written by the winners, and they love to say that Austin went from saying Austin 316 that one night to the next night being the top star in the company. He was not. It took him
I disagree.
Steve Austin was not the top guy in the company in '96. They
built. Okay, we're gonna have a good one now. Hear me out. Listen, stop.
Okay, all right, go ahead. All right, okay. Go ahead.
There's a Keithy face I wanted. Yes. Okay,
go ahead.
As a king proper, Austin, right? The guy was fucking Ted DiBiase's butt plug until that King of the Ring. Now, what they did in between that and what they did was they built him up to be ready for Bret Hart in November. If that King of the Ring had not happened and he had not done that King of the Ring and won that tournament, he would not become the star he is today. That's where I'm kind of confused about your whole Macho King thing. Like Macho King was already a freaking talent.
All right. Well, hold on, because again, I think what you're missing is you're missing out on the King gimmick, the gimmick of the King. Okay.
I got a good one for that too, but I'm gonna let you finish.
Not the tournament, but the King. Okay. The gimmick.
Yes.
Steve Austin. First of all, Steve Austin wasn't even supposed to win that tournament. It was supposed to be Triple H, but the curtain call thing happened, and then they had to punish one person, and they ended up punishing
King Helmsley probably would have worked better based on his character to begin with in that whole scenario, right? That probably would have.
The following year, Triple H wins the tournament. He carries the King gimmick for like a week, maybe, and then it's gone by SummerSlam. It's gone because he wrestles Mankind at SummerSlam in the cage match. I don't even think they refer to him as King of the Ring winner, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, but whatever. Ken Shamrock never was a king, never had the King gimmick. Okay, Ken Shamrock. Did it start to push him big in '98? Yes, but everybody remembers that King of the Ring for the friggin' Mankind match, and that's it. Billy Gunn was a total bust.
Total bust.
Kurt Angle was good, but Kurt Angle by that point was already on the fucking.
He didn't need it. He didn't need it.
Yeah, Edge didn't come into his own until he cashed in the Money in the Bank, really, and beat John Cena and became like rated R superstar. But Edge was that was a good tournament. That should have been, Angle should have won that back-to-back, actually, in my opinion. But that's neither here nor there. Brock Lesnar was, again, another didn't need it, the rocket up his ass. However, what Lesnar had, and I know Mabel and Owen Hart had this as well, but The thing that Brock Lesnar got out of that was they gave him the shot against The Rock at SummerSlam, and I think it was because he won the King of the Ring tournament. And that is exactly what I get to about this, where if you want to have a King of the Ring tournament, because Gunther has had it, and I
He didn't need it.
No, but I think that's it. Like Gunther and then Nia Jax has the Queen of the Ring. They win it, and they end up getting a shot at SummerSlam, and I like that idea. I think that's a solid idea. You have a winner of a tournament and you could just have.
And that's what Brock Lesnar did when he
took on Brock. That's great. Booker T carried the King gimmick well. Okay,
that was the one I was going to bring up. Yes. Like when you talk, like for me, I hate Booker T, always have. Yeah. But the most entertaining I think he was. I think that King gimmick for him worked well for him. King Booker, like that was a whole thing. And by the way, Owen Hart, there would be no King of Hearts if he hadn't won that tournament.
Yeah, but here's my problem going back again with like Owen Hart and with the tournament every year. It's kind of weird that you're the king for like, I kind of feel like the King gimmick dies after Jerry the King Lawler shows up in 93, because there's only one king in wrestling. And it's Jerry Lawler. It's unfortunately, and I don't like Jerry Lawler, but that's just how it is. So it's like, it was hard having like Brett be a king. It was hard having Owen Hart be a king because you have Owen Hart is the King of Hearts, but then Jerry Lawler's having him on the fucking King's Court. It's fucking stupid. It's like, what are we doing here? What is this, Europe? Like, what are we doing here? Then you had Mabel ran the King gimmick, but again, Mabel's a fucking travesty and it should never be mentioned ever forth again. But like every year you have the King of the Ring. That's why like in 2001, Kurt Angle should have went into the King of the Ring tournament as the defending King of the Ring. And he should have won and defended his crown. Like that would have been good if they had carried that angle. But then they lost it the next year when it was Brock Lesnar was it. It's just, I don't like that every year you have a king defending, like the king's not even in the tournament half the time the following year. It sucks.
So Keith, what makes, I guess my question is, I guess in the framework, like Macho King. Now,
I like the gimmick of Macho King.
I was going to say, what makes him different? Because he was already a star. Oh, I have a take on that, but I'll let you say it first.
Okay.
Why the Macho King? Why is he different than any of the rest of them?
Okay, well, number one, you had Harley Race. They gave Harley Race the King title because they, wanted to pay homage to the fact that Harley Race was this big deal outside of the WWF. So they give him the King. He gets hurt.
He was the first, he wasn't the first King of the Ring winner, but he was the first mainstream one that they.
He was the first guy that came out as the King with the regal.
Did the coronation on TV? Did all that? Yeah.
Then you have Haku because
I like King Haku.
Yeah, and Harley gets hurt, and then Bobby Heenan has this whole thing where he's like, I have to give this to the next regal person. He gives it to Haku. Haku loses it to Duggan.
Oh, man.
But that's fun because at least it was a good secondary kind of feud that could develop. That was like a serious.
So it's almost like to you, it's almost like a title kind of thing for you.
Kind of, yes. And the thing that I like about it though is that it like Duggan, it kind of propped Duggan up as it gives Duggan something else to do. And it's funny because this kind of goes along with your shit take for the week as well. It gives these guys that don't have anything else that are kind of rudderless something to do. Like Savage, it gave Savage, I think, a little bit more life after he lost the title to Hogan. Because
that's what I was going to say about that. I was going to say it seems like it reinvigorated him, it rebooted him. Right?
Yeah, because otherwise, what does Savage do for the rest of just fucking sit there and fight Hogan and loot?
Take the L's to Hogan every house show loot.
He jobs to Hogan at every fucking show ever, and then he gets nothing, never any fucking heat back. At least it gave him his heat back. It gave him an opportunity to, and it's fucking hilarious when they do the coronations because, I used to get, Pete and I have reviewed, I'm pretty sure Pete and I reviewed all three. We reviewed Haku's, Duggan's, and Savage's, and it's funny when you see guys that have switched from heel to babyface and they're on both fucking coronation things. I think Demolition was at both.
Yeah.
Demolition was at Haku's and then Demolition was at friggin' Duggan's. It was awesome. But it's just
you talked about all these different kings. So you're saying, okay, so let's think about this real quick. And I'm not trying to beat a dead horse. Post Macho King.
Yeah.
Who was the king after Macho King?
Nobody. Brett was the first one.
So they killed the gimmick after that.
Yeah. They killed the gimmick. Now, hold on a minute. because I'm looking at the Wikipedia page for the King of the Ring tournaments. They had a King of the Ring tournament and they've had a King of the Ring tournament in 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, and then 90, 91, and then 93. So 87 is Savage, 88 is Ted DiBiase, 89 is Tito Santana. You know what's funny? All three of those guys were never the king at the time they won the King of the Ring tournament. Bret Hart wins it in 91. He's not the king. When he wins it at 93, he wins the King of the Ring tournament pay-per-view, and then they do the thing with him being the king and Jerry Lawler beating him up and so forth. There's nothing wrong with having a King of the Ring tournament, a tournament to determine who would be the next top contender for whatever championship.
Would you want the king gimmick itself to come back? Like, would you want that?
You know what? When we had King Booker, when we had King, it kind of killed Wade Barrett. I think Bad News Barrett was a much better.
No, I think King Booker, again, as much as I hate
King Booker's probably the last good
known one that you can like pinpoint as the king.
Because although William Regal would have been good, but William Regal got suspended after he won the title, so it kind of derailed that whole thing. King Sheamus was fucking stupid. I think Bad News Barrett was a much better gimmick than King Barrett. Baron Corbin was fucking dumb. Xavier Woods, this is the thing with Xavier, and I was just talking about this the other day about Xavier Woods. They made this huge fucking deal about Xavier Woods never winning anything like on his own, and how he grew up loving Randy Savage. He grew up loving the King gimmick. He was all about it. They basically put that entire tournament, they built it around Xavier Woods finally coming out of his tag team doldrums to become like a huge deal. He wins the King of the Ring tournament, and they really didn't do much after that. I mean, they had him on a little bit afterwards on like SmackDown. He was on a little bit, and then it kind of went away. And then when they did the whole breakup of the New Day, or the alleged breakup of the New Day, they literally had Kofi in there cutting a promo about how Xavier Woods never did anything on his own. And I was like, Jesus, they literally built the whole King of the Ring tournament in 2021 around Xavier Woods, and then they didn't even fucking do anything with it.
It's funny. You go back to the New Day, because I feel like their heel turn was great, and I feel like they have totally shit the bed on the booking since.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a whole separate
they're stuck dealing with fucking Rey Mysterio. Anybody?
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio is he's the fucking Friday night death slot on television.
I have a very critical of the New Day, but as heels, that heel turn was great, and I feel like they've totally shit the bed on the heel turn. But anyway,
I also think that they were really on high hopes that Big E was coming back for the Rumble, and I think that's what the push was, and they kind of shot themselves in the foot, because like Big E needs to come in with like an Obi Femi and have him be like the guy that he sends to beat up the New Day or something. But that's besides the point. And then Gunther hasn't even dropped his fucking ring general thing yet. He won that. But again, Gunther won that tournament to get the shot at SummerSlam, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. So do I think they should have a King of the Ring tournament? Yes. Do I think that the King gimmick should not be used at all on that? Yes. I think it's okay to have a tournament that determines who's going to be, and it's perfect for it being either in May or June or July or something, because it sets up that match in SummerSlam for the main event, where the winner of the King of the Ring or the winner of the Queen of the Ring challenges their respective, or they don't even have to challenge their respective champion. They can challenge it. It can almost be like a Rumble winner thing, you know? And on top of that, as a kind of a side note, it adds a little bit of juice to the Rumble winner as well, because you don't always have to have the Rumble winner win that match against the person, just like you don't have to have the King of the Ring winner win that match against the person. Like Nia Jax should not have won the women's championship. I'm sorry. She sucks. She sucks all around everything, but she definitely shouldn't have won the championship. I like Gunther. I think Gunther should have won. I would have liked to have seen Gunther not win anything until he beats Cody at Mania this year, but that was...
that's a separate
That was my
conversation.
wishful dreaming, and it just didn't happen, so I'm going to have to go with this. But, like, having Gunther win the title at SummerSlam was great, having that. You didn't need both. It's just like the Rumble. You don't need both. Both of them don't need to beat the champion, because then it becomes like a guarantee. So this kind of adds a little juice that it doesn't always matter. Anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation, you know?
The only thing so I get your point. So the only thing I would say, so I get what you're saying. You're saying in the context of the gimmick itself, not the tournament. That's what you're saying. Fair. So the only thing I would say is I wouldn't necessarily agree with you on Macho King, because I think it did do wonders for King Booker's career. And that was after Macho King. That's the only thing I would probably come back and challenge you on.
One versus all the rest.
No, I get it, but Macho King wasn't the last one to make something out of the gimmick. That's my point. It would probably be King Booker.
Okay.
Who, by the way, I fucking hate and despise with all of my breathing air. So, all right. But it did make him world champion. I mean, with that gimmick, he became a champion.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I started out being irritated and pissy about it, but once you spun the web a little bit, I get it. But I still think it's a shit take because King Booker would be the last one to get that gimmick over besides Macho King. Okay. Although the Macho King is 100%. What I love about your take about Macho King, it did reinvigorate his career. He wore it like a badge of honor. So maybe it's not a shit take.
Owen Hart wore as a badge of honor.
Yeah.
But the thing that bothered me about Owen Hart carried the King of the Hearts thing a lot longer than any of the other kings.
Yeah.
But it just ruins it because
that was before he became a nugget.
Yeah, and you know that there's a shelf life. I am not a nugget. You know there's a shelf life, and the shelf life is only a year, and then he might have been. I don't know if he was in the following year. I feel like he might have been in the following year.
94
and 90 and no 95. I feel like he might have been in the tournament the following year. He wasn't. I'm just looking. He wasn't.
Okay.
And it's fucking dumb. And half the time the tournament's fucking dumb. And the 95 tournament is fucking abysmal. Actually, you know what's funny? Not to kind of cut off or whatever, but like one of the things that we're doing for No South Connection is we're doing like a review of 1995. And one of the projects I want to do is because as we talked about this in a previous shit take about booking Jeff Jarrett to win the title, I'm going to rebook 1995. I'm going to rebook a lot of shit for 1995.
But you're doing more than just wrestling on that one. You guys are doing pop culture 95.
Yeah, but I'm going to do a specific, I'm going to rebook 1995. Like I may start with the fucking King of the Ring and have it rebook it to, although no, I don't want to do that because I already did that because I said Jeff Jarrett should have won. But I'm going to definitely rebook.
You almost rebook something. Well, you haven't done it today, but normally you rebook shit every episode of something or another.
I like rebooking.
I know. I get it. That Jeff Jarrett was a great one. So, all right. So I don't necessarily agree if you're 100% a shit take. I get your point of view.
Mm-hmm.
At least I got a good argument at the start of that. All right, let's talk about this one. I don't think you're arguing with me about this one either, to be honest with you. And this might not even be a shit take. I think this is a fact. So listen, they brought some good talent in. Triple H brought up people from NXT. Braun Breaker, who I think is amazing and has the best upside out of anyone. Like, just freaking get him to the freaking top before. Like, one, you got to change his name because his name's as bad as Dolph Ziggler, if you ask me. But then you have Lyra, who they've got. Then you got Chelsea. And then, you know what? I have to remember who's the U.S. champion now. Oh, it's freaking Shinsuke. My shit take is, and you can even up the ante a little bit because, spoiler alert, I think Gunther's world title reign has been booked like shit too. The secondary champions in the WWE have been booked like complete, utter garbage. So let me start. Braun Breaker comes in, wins the Intercontinental title, then loses it a few weeks later, then regains it. And what has he done since? Really jack shit. He's feuded with Sheamus and has 100 fucking matches with Sheamus. Has that done anything for him as champion? Half the time he's not even wrestling on TV or he's sitting in the fucking audience. Okay. 2, Shinsuke, probably one of the worst booked people over the years from a big name from Japan. He constantly loses. Probably loses more than Drew McIntyre. He's another one they can't book for shit. Where he takes the loss. Oh, by the way, let's bring him back and let's have him beat LA Knight, who's on this big kick and is one of our best like talents, and just randomly have Shinsuke beat him. Now, what has he done? Nothing. Now he's going to face LA Knight again as of this recording this Friday night on SmackDown again. Okay, they did this tournament for the secondary women's title. They created an Intercontinental women's title and a U.S. women's title. Great. You want to talk about king booking, right? U.S. champion Chelsea Green has been one of the highlights. Just like she's been a true highlight of the shows, right? She's funny. She's entertaining. You have her win the U.S. title. Great. But then she feuds with Minchin, or whatever the fuck she is, who hasn't done jack shit ever in years, right? And then you have her lose an Elimination Chamber qualifying match. She loses her match. Non-title match. Same old. You have your champions, secondary champions lose in non-title matches. Guess what? They did the same thing to Lyra. What has Lyra done since she's won the Intercontinental title? What has she done? Oh, look, she lost a qualifying match too at a non-title match. I feel like their champion booking, and I'm going to be honest with you, Gunther, here's why I struggle with Gunther's. This is like, you could even go beyond Cody Rhodes booking. How's that? If you're not Cody Rhodes, you're booked like shit. We could do that too if you want to say that. What has Gunther's reign done? They didn't even have him on the first episode of Netflix in any meaningful way. And he's your world fucking champion. So, Keith, I'm just going to up the ante here. I'm going to say my shit take is, unless your name is Cody Rhodes, they book you like shit if you're a champion. So that's my take. So, thoughts?
Okay.
I almost think like Vince McMahon is booking again when it comes to champions. That's how it feels.
I would say that the only thing I disagree with you on that part is that you said if your name's not Cody Rhodes, because I think even Cody's reign has been booked kind of meh. And I defended Cody Rhodes.
Oh, you know what, Keith? Shame on me. Okay, so let's pivot. I think if you want to talk about someone who's spotlighted, Cody is spotlighted in a bigger way. As far as his world title reign, I'll agree with you on the title reign. So the only reason why I said if your name's not Cody Rhodes, your book, because these guys aren't even spotlighted in any meaningful manner.
Right. Well, now see, that's where I think you're wrong. Because
I don't think Gunther has been spotlighted well at all.
But I think Braun Breaker in the Intercontinental title has.
I don't think it has.
Because I think that Braun Breaker, granted, Braun Breaker's not, he wasn't on the first episode of Raw.
No, but he won the title, then he lost it to Uso, then he lost it back, then he won it back. And all he's done since then is wrestle Sheamus 500 fucking times.
There's nothing. Wait, he's also wrestled. He's been embroiled in a feud with Sheamus and the guy that runs with Gunther.
Oh, Ludwig, whatever.
Ludwig Kaiser.
Kaiser. Yeah, but he's not. Kaiser ain't shit. He's a jobber. He doesn't never win.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's
no
secondary.
way.
No, he's.
Don't mind me. I'm eating ice cream. I've been eating ice cream the entire time we've been filming.
Yeah, I wasn't going to call that out, but yeah.
You can call it out. It's fine. No, I think that, dude, I loved the Jey Uso victory over Braun Breaker. And I also loved Braun Breaker winning it back like 2 weeks later. I love that.
What was the fucking point?
Because it adds heat to the title. It adds that. It adds a little bit of spice to that. I mean, look.
Yeah, if you're booking Vince Russo.
No, because you don't do it every fucking week. You don't have a title change every week.
What about the Motor City Machine Guns? They won the belt, and then a few weeks later they lost them. It's the same shit.
There's nothing wrong with that. But then it leads back to like a rematch. Like, it's not. Look, they moved.
I don't need to see Braun Breaker versus Sheamus ever again. Ever. Done.
Okay, that's fine. But then, all right. So at least he's wrestling. Braun Breaker's wrestling almost every week. He's on TV a lot. And that's, he had a big feud with Sami Zayn for a minute. He had a big feud with Jey Uso for a minute. He's had this feud going on with Sheamus. He had the feud going on with
who's he feuding with now? Who's he feuding with now, Keith?
Oh, who do they just started him up?
Go on in the Mania season. It looks like it's going to be AJ Styles, right?
Yeah, that's another guy.
No, that one gives me hope. Like there was two things I was thinking about Mania for Braun. One was him, the other was Penta. Like, you give me those two, I'm okay with it. AJ versus him could steal the show at Mania for sure.
Yeah,
if they do it. Yeah.
Well, like, it's funny. I'm looking at, like, I love going to cage match just whenever you bring up these guys.
Yeah,
because I look at the thing. And I mean, he wrestled Sheamus. He's wrestled a lot, but he's also wrestled Ludwig. He wrestled Sami Zayn. He wrestled Jey Uso. He fought Jey Uso like for friggin' a week in a row.
I guess my problem is I'm kind of done with those at this point, and I want him to go on to his next.
All right, I guess, okay, I get it, but like, I don't know. I mean, if you want to talk about, I don't think it's necessarily the secondary title. It's championships in general.
Tell me about like Lyra.
No, I don't like the 50-50 booking. In my opinion, Lyra and Chelsea should never have been in the Elimination Chamber.
And I think Lyra's got upside. I think she's a future talent that's got a lot going for her if they do her right.
I don't think Chelsea Green should have been in the Elimination Chamber match. I don't like that. I don't like champions losing. Even unless it's by a count out or a disqualification or something that's like a screwy finish. I don't like that. I don't like Chelsea. Like, she lost to Naomi. That's fucking stupid. I don't like that. But now on a house show or on SmackDown, she lost to Minchin who Mitchin was the one she fought in the tournament final.
But that's my point. Mitchin shouldn't even been in the final because she's been irrelevant for
but it makes
her whole career.
but you know what? But Chelsea Green, all Chelsea Green was known for before the tournament was that she's.
But that should have been her coming out. Is my point. Like she should have been booked really good coming out of that.
But I don't like that immediately they had her teaming back with Piper Niven and going against the tag champions. Like I don't like you gotta defend your championship against an opponent and have it be
like if you bring back Becky Lynch, I would like to see Lyra versus Becky because those two have I think that's something they could do something with if Becky ever comes back.
Yeah.
All right. So what about Gunther? You think they booked Gunther well?
I think that I was also pissed off that Gunther was not on the first Raw. I was pissed. I thought that was
it made no sense. No sense.
Yeah. And also, but I think that I fucking love this angle they're doing with Jey Uso. I love it. I think it's great. I think that
I have zero desire to see Jey Uso versus Gunther. They already wrestled on Saturday night's main event. Why do I need it at a WrestleMania? Hey, look, someone calling me on my shit take right now.
No. I think that I don't know what they could have done. I mean, it's funny. You go back and you look at his. He wrestles on every house show, Gunther, and he's wrestling against a whole wide variety.
But I'm talking like mainstream publicized.
No. I'm just saying, like, well, because you're right, because they haven't had a ton of they haven't had a ton of different opponents for him yet. I mean, at least on television wise.
You got Jey Uso wrestling him again in a main event at WrestleMania. They just wrestled on Saturday night's main event. Why? I just Jey Uso. I think his entrance is amazing. I could totally get up and get down with that entrance. Yeah. In ring, promo wise, he does not strike me as a Mania main eventer. In fact, it reminds me of Kofi going after Bryan, which is one of my all-time favorite. Hated that match with him. Well, I did a shit take on it, right? But
yeah,
I have reminders of that again, and I don't like it. Gunther deserves better.
Well, you know what I think should have happened, in my opinion, and this is again, I don't think it hurts Gunther as much as people think. I think he should have lost that title to Jey Uso at Saturday night's main event, or he should have lost the title at the previous Saturday night's main event to like Damian Priest. I think Damian Priest
Priest would have made sense.
I think Priest was a good champion. Actually, I think
he was. I agree.
He could have gotten his shot at a match at Mania. It would have been good because it wouldn't have had to main event night 2 or night 1 rather. It would have been, they could have had it be like the undercard on night 1 kind of thing.
Like I would rather see Gunther versus Cena.
Yeah, but hold on. This is what I was saying. What I think would have been great is because my dream match this year at Mania was Gunther versus Cody, and have him, because you already had it built in with that.
They had a really good match. That was a good match.
Yeah, and like that whole weird thing they had going on in Riyadh where it was like he lost to Cody. Like, it gives them an opportunity to say like, oh, okay, this is going to be a thing, So I would have been cool with that if that was the case. I think that he should have lost the title at some point between whenever and Rumble, and then he should have just went into Rumble and won Rumble, and then he challenges Cody, and that's your main event for night 2. And then you don't have to worry about it. Now they kind of booked themselves into a corner, although they didn't, because I think Jey Uso has what they wanted for friggin' Roman Reigns in was it 2014 or whatever the year it was that he
the face Rumble. Yeah, they had the face. Yeah, the crowd loves him to death.
Yeah,
love him.
And that's what they got now with Jey Uso, which is why I think Jey Uso will go over at Mania.
I'm kind of with you. I just don't have any desire to see that match, but I do think.
No. But
when he wins it, it's going to be crazy. People are going to go nuts.
Yeah. And I want to get away from, one of the things to go back to the whole Braun Breaker losing the title and then go. I like that idea because because we ran into that last year where it was like you have these ridiculously long title reigns that they're just nothing's going to happen on a weekly show. Or nothing's going to happen at a mid-level pay-per-view. So it's like you knew Braun Breaker you knew that Gunther wasn't going to lose the title until Mania when he was the Intercontinental Champ. It was fucking dumb. Like the guys at 600 days, they're not going to wait till Mania. That's like, remember when everybody was saying oh, Cody's not going to be Roman Reigns because they want to sell shirts that say I broke Hogan's record. Oh my God! If Roman Reigns didn't lose that title at Mania, I would have left early then.
Well,
You think
especially if he was on that limited schedule he's been on this year. What a nightmare! Like,
right?
It's like,
could you imagine another year of this?
No, I couldn't. But I also think taking the title off him and his run this year has made him completely irrelevant to anything at this point. So.
Yeah, because he should have just left. He should have been done. He's been at the top for a long time. It's okay to fucking.
I don't think he should have been done, but I think the amount of time he's had off TV has not helped in the follow. And by the way, he's lost matches in that too. He hasn't really done anything of value, right?
And to kind of correct your last statement about if your name's not Cody Rhodes, you're not booked through the roof. If you're not
spotlighted. I should reframe it.
If your name is not, if you're not part of the bloodline storyline, you're not spotlighted. That's what I think.
I was talking about champions only.
I know, but there you go.
Okay, so you're telling me my shit take is a shit take because you're saying the champions are booked fine.
Yes.
I think you're fucking wrong.
Ish.
No, it's fine. I'm going to disagree
100%.
I feel like the booking of the champions has been very Vince McMahon-ish, and I think Triple H needs to fucking get out of the rut and start doing the right thing.
Okay.
So, like SmackDown, this past week, SmackDown was one of the worst shows of SmackDown history. It was unwatchable, that show this week. Did you watch that show, Keith?
No, I was out.
A lot of people want to give AEW shit. Let me tell you something. That SmackDown is probably one of the worst shows I've seen, comparable to any AEW I've watched in the last 5 months.
Well, Mr. Levesque, we know you listen to this show, so please.
I mean, he is up in Mass. Well, where's he at? He's up in Connecticut. He's up in your neck of the woods. Why don't you go to the headquarters and say something to him? Why don't you go talk to him, Keith?
You know, I am a shareholder.
I mean, yeah, I'm not. Anyway.
I had a friend of mine buy me one share of stock of WWF back in the day when it went public.
Well,
and I still have it. I'm still looking at it. I'm looking at it framed. I have my one share of stock. It's now, I don't know what the hell it is now worth, but yeah.
Well, I guess my shit takes irrelevant, but besides the fact that Netflix has lost half its audience already, they're still cooking in terms of the amount of money and profit they're making. So whatever I say about booking is probably a shit take. They still make money no matter what. So
yeah.
And they have good matches. They do have randomly good matches on their shows. I just want to see more consistent, solid booking with their champions. Like the Cody Rhodes KO thing, like that feud was great. The problem is KO has lost every. This is the problem. Drew has lost almost every fucking match. KO has lost every fucking match. It's almost like these people they put up. Drew just lost to fucking Jimmy Uso. Like. They book their challengers like shit too. I don't know, man. It's a whole thing going on now.
It's the 50-50 booking. That's what
I hate it. I hate it.
It's the 50-50 booking. And that's what I was saying for years is that you cannot take anybody serious when you book them like shit. It's just, and again, I kind of to piggyback a little bit on what you were saying earlier about, having your champions be booked shitty. You're not wrong. There's no reason why they should have had Lyra or Chelsea in the friggin' in that tournament, or have Braun Breaker or Shinsuke Nakamura in that tournament to determine who's going to be in the Elimination Chamber. Like, don't do it. Just have them be separate. Have them build a feud separately. That's the whole point. And that goes back to the thing about being the king. It's okay to have it as a gimmick, but build it separately from a tournament or something else and have it be like, if you want to have, let's just say they wanted to make, I'll just use Xavier Woods because he was the last one before Gunther. Let's say Xavier Woods is going to be the king of the ring. Okay. Xavier Woods is the king of the ring. He's got his Sir Kofi or whatever it is. You have that whole thing. And then you have him defend that king against LA Knight, against Rey Mysterio, against Dominic Mysterio, whoever he gets into a feud with, you have him defend his crown, and you build a feud. LA Knight, yeah, I'm a knight, yeah. Like, it's not that hard to do a stretch for a fucking storyline. Mm-hmm. And then, Rey Mysterio, I'm the king of the luchas. I should be the king of the ring. Like that kind of, it's not hard to build a feud.
But we do something with him and Penta. Like, they did feud in Lucha Underground, by the way, but no. So here's the thing. Like, we're recording this well out from WrestleMania. By the time this airs, we'll only be like 2 or 3 weeks out from WrestleMania. So the booking of what they're doing could totally shift. Like we saw what happened with The Rock and Cody. So they're doing the same shit they did last year, where they're teasing they're just going to totally pivot and shift versus what everybody thinks they're going to do. So I guess we just have to watch it play out. But I do want to see what they do with the champions. I want to see them be booked better, and that's my shit take. I'm just over it.
Okay.
Move on. Okay. All right, Keith. Anything you want to plug to end this episode?
No. People know where to find me. If you don't know where to find me by this point,
why don't you just plug your Twitter?
Oh, you can reach me at the artist formerly known as Twitter at Flounder824, Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is. You can find me on there. And hopefully by the time this came out, I had a couple of other new podcasts drop. So hopefully.
I'm sure you will. I mean, as for me, it's for podcasts. This one, Hands of Z. I'll be on Linking Up Luchas when I can. I've pretty much canceled my other ones. Territorial's done. Hidden Gems done. It's because of time. So now it's just kind of to pivot and focus on the ones that, quite honestly, people listen to the best. So we'll just pivot and focus on those, right? Why not?
Sure. Why not?
All right. So with that, thank you everybody for listening. And Keith and I, again, we're 1 month apart. So we will see you in a month from now on our next episode of The Shit Tape.
I'm right and you're wrong, that's the name of this here song. This discussion's gone on way too long. I'm right and you're wrong. They say there's two sides to every scrum. My side's right and your side's dumb. That's the general rule of thumb. I'm right and you're wrong. If I'm right and you're wrong, I guess this can't be a sing-along. 'Cause you'd sing I'm right and that'd be wrong. 'Cause I'm right and you're wrong. I'm right and you're wrong, that's the name of this here song. Dang, you sure are headstrong. I'm right and you're wrong. We can agree to disagree on things you're just too blind to see. Else you just agree with me, 'cause I'm right and you're wrong. Please don't cloud the issue with facts. Let's just stick to personal attacks till there ain't no turning back. 'Cause I'm right and you're wrong. I'm right and you're wrong, that's the name of this here song. Civil discourse just don't belong. I'm right and you're wrong. What's that you say? Maybe we should listen. Maybe there's things we've both been missing. Heck, we could wind up hugging and kissing if no one's right or wrong. Now all this talking's gone on way too long. There ain't gonna be no brand new dawn. 'Cause you're an idiot and I'm King Kong. I'm right and you're wrong. I'm right and you're wrong, that's the name of this here song. It turns out all along I was right and you were wrong. I'm right and you're wrong, that's the name of this here song. This whole thing's gone on way too long. I'm right and you're wrong. Yeah, the world ain't flat, it's just oblong. I'm right and you're wrong. And you're ugly too.